bad. I was a little late. I had to run and go grab some water and shit.
Oh no, you good. I actually see it on as far as Facebook is concerned, so it's Gucci. I'm like, yep, got
Right. All right.
it.
Uh-oh. Is it on here? Okay, yeah, we good.
Oh, hold on, let me turn on this chat. I got the music already ready and shit.
Look, he got the flash still going.
Yeah, we lit over here.
Yeah.
The chat. Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, let me kick off this intro and shit.
Yep.
I'll be hella forgetting this shit. But welcome to another episode of Free Your Mind Podcast, where you come free your mind and help others free theirs. I'm your co-host, and I go by the name of Woon, and I'm all about balance like the sun and the moon. What's popping?
Hey, I'm the other co-host, man. I go by the name of Selfmade. You got to tap into self to know thyself always. Remember that.
Always.
Peace and love to everybody. Peace to the chat. Anybody in here that's in here early?
Yeah, shout out to the one. I see. We got one person. I don't know if it's Facebook or YouTube or what.
Shout out to them.
I got my happy dippy nappy going on right now.
We got CJ in the building.
CJ,
What's up? What's up?
What's up? Back again.
Yes, sir.
back to back. That has to be a great thing. Like a new person coming back to back. That's super love.
Yeah, I like it here. I like it here.
Oh. And we
for the first time, man, we got Scorp in the building.
Yes, sir.
Yo. I'm gonna try some little sayings. I'm gonna try some little sayings. My name is Scorpio, and I'm pungent with spiritual abundance, and I'm reaching at what you seeking. No, go ahead. Yeah, I'm Scorpio. Nice to meet everybody. Hello.
So, and just so for everybody who don't know, I've been knowing Scorp since the first grade.
Oh,
Day one since grade one. Day one since grade one. You know what I'm saying? For real.
That's
yeah,
right.
so it's a beautiful thing to see, people, that I came up with, come up on the show, break up out of their shell, and
but it gets deeper than that. You know what I mean? With the Chicago, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
My bad.
Nah, you good. Just getting the people familiar with our history. That's all good. The fam both was in Southside Chicago, came to move to Sacramento. That's how we met. He has a man and woman, and when I say man and woman, that's their nicknames in the family. And it just so happens that my family has a man and a lady nicknames in his family, and I got a man and lady in my family, and they both migrated from Chicago to Sacramento, and that's how we met on some crazy shit. But that's how the world works.
Yeah. Cool. Welcome, man. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, Woon. Hey, Woon, you got to tell them, man. They wondering what's up with the strobe light, man.
But I don't want to say everything, but a lot of the things that I do symbolically, right? And you see how the strobe light is flashing and shit. Before we start the show, and it's probably gonna segue into some shit. I have to say some things real quick, if y'all don't mind. So there are people who've been coming at me for whatever reason, right? And the person who's recently tried to assassinate my character, I didn't even know that they follow me on Facebook, but they're telling people about me, right? Mainly because of an ex-relationship that they had, and I may have bumped into their baby mom or whatever, and now they're trying to dirt my name. They probably went through her phone and all type of shit and saw my name in there or saw me or whatever. So I'll just have one thing to say, right? If you do not want your baby mom, ex-wife, whoever, to talk to anybody else, I suggest you treat her right? That's one thing.
Facts.
Second thing is, if you do not want to be with her, then you can't play both sides of the fence. That's two. Last, but no, I don't even want to say last, but one thing that you really shouldn't do is try to get at the nigga who bumped her and you don't know the nigga and you mad at it. Hey, Squirt, hey, check this out real quick. Check this out real quick, son.
Huh?
But
Right.
you cannot be mad at the person who ends up running into her. That's illegal. You can't do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but that's cool if niggas is in their feelings. I get that. In fact, I would rather you come on to the show because I know that you follow me now. I would rather you come on to the show so you can get some get like if you and I don't care about niggas hating because I know that's an emotion, right? So when it comes down to that, you could come have a conversation with me, and if you want to get with her, I will tell you how I got with her. Like, you know what I mean? But you should know how to get with her because you've already dealt with her. But my
Hey,
thing is,
they say don't hate the player, hate the game.
hey, but my thing is this, right? Because now people come up with all type of different. Oh well, you guys are just on this conscious shit just to get money.
Right.
You guys are on this conscious shit just to get women. This is who we naturally are. So I don't like the excuse is funny to me, but it's just like at the end of the day, if you want to be with your woman, treat her right. Treat her like you want to be with her. If she just so happens to run into me, hey, that has nothing to do with me. You feel me? So I see that you're frustrated and you want to take this shit out on me. That's absolutely fine, right? But you have to be the common denominator. Woon don't got nothing to do with that. I'm not gonna play scapegoat, but just like I said, if you want to talk about something, then you follow me. You should have DM me. I would have gave you all the game.
Okay.
Like, do you know like she likes to have butt plugs in her? I see. I don't even want to go there.
Ooh wee.
And I have to. Why do I? Why
I
do I
need
have
to.
to address this like this? Right? When people, only thing you got to do is tap in. I give game all day. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not even on no function. You could have easily hit me up and say, hey, I really want to be with this lady. Fall back. I know you don't know me because I don't know this nigga. But, and I'm not even singling this dude out, but there's a lot of dudes who come across me through they female or whatever, and then they try to make me the bad guy. But I'm not a bad guy. That's why motherfuckers be tapping in with me. I'm not a bad guy. So you got to learn how to not to be the bad guy. I'm just happy to be napping and shit. You feel me? Outside of that, hey,
Whoa.
I be on some player
Uh,
shit. I do
Yeah,
not.
that's what I was gonna say.
I
Sounds
be on
like
some player shit.
woo.
I do not beef over bitches. I don't.
Okay.
You feel me? Like nigga, I didn't spend a lot of time in my life gang banging. You feel me? I don't gang bang no more. So for sure, I ain't finna beef over no bitch. Are you insane?
I
Hey.
feel
It's
it.
hard, man. Hey, if you love that girl, you better make that shit be known to her. Don't
That's a
talk about no nigga. That's not talking about a nigga is not gonna get you that ass, B.
Okay. Yeah.
and
That that
that's a
that
perfect segue into the topics of tonight, being
I'm done.
relationships.
right. That is a major turnoff
But
from a woman's perspective of when men talk about another man, especially when that the man that is approaching you is trying to get at you. You know, it to me, I mean, I've had that happen as well. And you know, categorically, he's put into a place of like, yeah, I'm cool. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of I'm that's kind of that's not a good thing. You know, you shouldn't
mhm.
have to speak on someone else to get at a person, and that goes for females as well. You know what I mean? Some females will, you know, dirt another female and put all her business out there just to get at this dude. And most 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10, everybody knows who they're fucking with or who they're trying to fuck with. So you don't got to do all that, put smut on somebody's name. It just makes it look bad. And, you know, you could get, you know, hit in terms of like slept with or whatnot. And then because he's just going to fuck with you just based on that he already, you know, you're just easy to fuck with. But then at the end, when he does cut out, he might just tell you, like, hey, B, you know, what you said about homegirl wasn't cool. You know what I mean? And you really gonna feel stupid because you got ran up in and then he told you about yourself. So I would just say, you know, keep it P and don't be putting people's business out there.
See the thing, and I know that all the players know this. you could be dealing with somebody who you probably, I don't know how, like, just like I said, you probably went through her phone or some shit. Like, and I'm saying in general, like, let me skirt off of him real quick. But people go through people's phones, and it's just like, maybe I was considering talking to this person, but now that you jaw jacking and shit, they gonna want to see what that other person is about for real. And in the street, we call that, you talk about me so much that your bitch gonna want to fuck me now, dummy. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? So
Right.
the
Keep
more
my
that,
name in your mouth.
yeah, the more that
That
you
is
speak
true.
Like,
the more
man.
that you speak about somebody,
She
it's
hear it from me, and now she hearing it from you. Like, yeah.
Right.
mathematically, she wasn't like, she was probably peeking at a nigga. You didn't open up the curtains and everything. Like,
Right,
look at this.
yeah.
That's
And I'm
true.
just chilling like this.
You don't even got to put no major work in now.
He
Huh.
didn't do the work for me.
You
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
exactly. You don't
You done set it up, man.
right. Yeah,
Hey,
I mean, and it all comes down to, like you said, if you don't want your female or your partner, male or female, to be out there even taking a number, you should treat them right. When you treat a person right, you don't even got to worry about that, unless the female or male is already on some hoe shit, because you got to let a hoe be a hoe regardless, and they gonna do what they want to do anyway. So.
Mhm.
But as long as you know you're treating a person right, I mean, that's all you can do.
man, I've
Mhm.
been separated from my son's mom since he was 2. My son is now 19. I don't when my son was 2, I didn't care about who my son's mom was dealing with. once the relationship is over, it's done. Do I
Right.
care about your well-being? That's a maybe. Like, you know what I mean? But in terms of who you messing with, hell no. Like, because I'm doing me.
Right. Yeah,
That's
some people find it hard to let go. They want to they have the ties, and I don't that's like they don't got nothing going on for themselves. Usually that's what that is, because when you got something going on for yourself, you don't give a fuck who they're messing with either. You know what I mean?
that's a fact. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I can see, like, because for anybody who know me, like, you know what I mean? I'll be on some chill shit. So
Right.
I'm not even, I don't even put myself out there as if I'm a player. Like, you know what I mean? I really don't. Really, I'll be lonely for all the females who watching this shit. I'll be lonely as hell sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Let me sell my shit a little bit.
Shut your ass up.
But no, I'm just saying though, like, I don't even be putting it out there and trying to, you know what I mean? I'll be
Hey, those are the worst ones. Them cool cats that lay back. You know what I mean?
chilling.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I'll be,
Oh,
no,
nah, because I'm chill too. Hey, Woon, you trying to give us a bad name or something,
oh
man?
yeah, my bad. I'm really being serious for real, because I didn't people didn't toss it at me, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's cool. So I'll be chill. Like, so for somebody to, and just like I said, he's not the first person. This is just some new shit that I just now found out. But he's not the first person to come at me about some, oh, well, what do you want? Or telling the female, oh, well, you must fuck with that nigga Woon, or like, you know what I mean? And I be chilling, man. Like, I be doing me. If y'all be seeing, this nigga got me on his page, he added me as a friend, and I didn't even know who the fuck he was.
He was the agent, man.
This nigga monitoring me, but I don't even know who he is. That's some
Yeah,
crazy
that's
shit.
crazy.
I gotta start monitoring, but I
Okay,
don't even
wait. So
really
did you get
accept
at the
friend
did you
requests from
get at the
dudes.
female? Did you get at the female and ask her about like the guy, the dude? I mean,
I don't ask. That's not my business.
no, it's not. But I'm just saying, like, that's a responsibility she has to homeboy, not you. So, like, if a dude's getting at you or something, I mean, I kind of would check her. Like, she shouldn't have taken the number and put you in a position like that, because motherfuckers lose their lives like that sometimes, though, too.
The funny thing, and I respect everything you just now said. The funny thing about it is that I don't think they was together. So it's
It's
just
just he
like,
mad that his female is
yeah.
messing with
So that's
somebody
what
in general.
exactly. So for me, it's just like, you can't, like, just, that's what I was saying. Like, so if you want to really be with her for real, you gotta put in that work. You gotta let her know that. But if y'all separate and break up, I don't know you, and I don't have any control over what your female want to do. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
So
true.
So I don't come in into when I'm first meeting somebody and I'll be like, hey, who you fuck with? Because I don't need to ask that because if I already got your number and if we already talking,
Yeah,
it's
you're
already
supposed to
good
have your
already.
shit lined up.
Yeah,
And see,
it's already ready already.
and
So
see,
I
that's the scary part about. I use the word scary because for females, I'm gonna speak from a female's perspective. It's like you don't know men and women, you don't know what they got going on. Motherfuckers say they're not in a relationship, but really they got somebody at home, and it's too many games being played. It's like, why not just keep shit up front? It's so much easier. Like, I don't get it. Like, why people have to play it. I mean, they want pussy on pussy on pussy. Females want dick on dick. I mean, like, what do you gain from that shit though? Like headaches. I mean, my experience, I could only spread myself so thin. So it would, in the back, in my little days. So, I'm like, when somebody, there's always somebody that wants more than what you could give them. So then it starts to, you're at home, you're trying to kick it with the one that you're with, and you're like, man, it's in the back of your mind. So you're not present in your current relationship. And
that's
it's wants to deal with that. If I'm with somebody, I want to give them all of me. I don't feel like I need to be fucking with this person, that person. I mean, that's just me though. Uh, you know, but they say you can't find everything in one person. Some people have that thought too.
yeah.
Oh
But
yeah,
then you just need to let that shit be known up front. Like, hey, I cannot be in a monogamous relationship. You never know what a chick might be with. She might be down with that.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. And that's my thing. Like I used to get into, especially when I got like my own spot solo, and I used to have females come to my house and shit, and I would let it be known from the gate, hey, look, I'm not looking for no relationship, right? But we catching a vibe and shit. You feel me? So if we catching a vibe, of course we gonna watch a movie. Of course I'm a cook. Of course we gonna drink. Of course we gonna listen to some music. Of course we gonna play dominoes. We gonna do all that shit, right? And so when I started doing that shit, females would be like, "Oh, well, such and such relationship. Hey, wait, time out." And I had to pull up the contract before we even did this shit. You understood this contract says that I don't want a relationship, right? But then I started noticing that it just wasn't one female that I was dealing with. It was just like how I was treating them. Like I was giving them relationship energy and shit.
Oh,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so by default, now I gotta be like, damn, with certain females, it's just like we can't kick it like that. Like we really gotta come over.
Go straight.
And, hey, what you finna get into? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right,
On that
right. I
type
can
of
see
time.
that.
So it's kind of like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
I agree because when men are like, they want to they cannot just hang out. At least in my experience, they cannot hang out. So I'm talking to some guys and I'm like, I'm cool with just hanging out. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Sure.
oh yeah, they're cool. But then they would always mix business. They could not just separate it. I find, and uh, they say that, but they just couldn't. So I mean, I'm cool. I'm like the homegirl. I'm cool. We could just hang out, whatever. But then they want to, like, they want to.
It's them intentions. You gotta see what's that? They be having alternative intentions, alternative motives and shit. They may say one thing, but and in the back of their mind,
And
it's still gonna be something else.
so then I'm cool. Then it's like, okay, like you said, we can't even
But
kick it. We can't hang out or none of that
yeah,
shit. Because it's
that's when it
like,
comes back down to what Woon is saying. Like off the rip, as soon before y'all get to hanging out, have you know what I'm saying? Like be up front and just be like, hey,
that's
look, we're
why my
gonna go
phone
kick
is
it.
dry.
You
That's why
know.
my phone is dry. Because I'm like, yeah, we can't. It ain't none of shit like that popping. I got my own bread, my own crib, my own shit. So I don't, it's like not that I know some that's like, okay, all women got that. So what else? Because
Right.
what I'm saying is, I'm not out here searching for like what you got. I'm trying to, if you know, it's deep. It's a connection. It's, you know, if it were to go there, but people just can't chill and just hang out. What happened to courting? What happened to just, you know what I mean, like dating, just going, doing, kicking it, and you go your way, I go my way. Nah, they get in their feelings. You go out and have a couple drinks. They expect that you're supposed to go back to their crib, or they get in their feelings. You go out a couple times and have drinks. There's an expectation that
That's
you're supposed to
exactly
give up the draws.
right.
And I'm
Am I
cool. I
on?
could pay you back.
Yeah, you
Look,
are.
Yeah,
look,
no,
I
cool.
could pay you back for all the drinks that you spent. If it comes down to
If it's
that,
that, yeah.
Right.
I'm not
Okay,
that,
go ahead,
you know
sir.
what
Because
I mean?
if you is
Yeah.
genuinely just trying to get to know somebody, like past sexual, past all that, then it shouldn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like you buying somebody a drink, you're doing that genuinely because you like, I'm trying to just genuinely get to know you. Like I'm trying to,
Right.
you feel me, see where this shit's at, you know? So
No.
it's
Yeah.
like if you're doing that with the intention of, well, I'm buying something, so hey, yeah, you giving something,
So
then you
wait.
know what I'm saying?
So why can't us women be like that though? You know what I mean? Like I kind of feel like that. Like fuck
Wait,
it.
they get down like that
I
too.
was gonna say, yeah, they do.
They finna they buy you a couple of drinks and be like, hey, all right,
Man,
what you got going on? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, what we
no,
doing after this?
they'll joke you right up out of them drawers too.
Man, what? Man,
Shit.
for
I
I
think
real.
done been
more
thinking a
women.
couple times, like, girl, you funny. Like, hold on, wait.
No, wait. I think more women should do that and see, let the men, you know, see how they react. But with that being said, how have you had that happen? And if so, how did you react? How
Well,
did
no, that's a great question. I remember, um, and it was in my 20s and shit too, and I'm still in the streets, so I got a little tree here and there and shit. So free men, they get access to you know different females and shit, right?
right?
And I remember once one summer, I chose the summer to be abstinent, right? And I was just like, let me stop pursuing women just in general. Let me see what abstinence feels like. Because I used to always hear about it and I wanted to see what it was. So I'm talking about women, just whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like whatever's whatever. But I don't know if they melted on me. I don't know what it was, but they like, nah.
Oh,
They like, nah, we finna just like I said, we finna
That
get
was
this thing. We finna joke him about his drawers. Something like, you know what I mean? But I did at that point in time, and no disrespect to the ladies, but I have to say this. Y'all push a line harder than men sometimes. Like y'all be pushing.
hey, hey,
I
no, that's
agree.
real.
I
They
agree.
But but when it comes down to just a genuine, if they're being genuine with it, like you know what I mean, and we able to work it out, because that's actually how I broke my shit. Like you know what I mean? Because I think I was abstinent I went the whole summer I was abstinent. That was crazy. But the thing all the way to like I think I went abstinent for like 6 months. And so when that happened, and then I had met a chick and shit or whatever, and then we got to talking, and I'm just trying to catch a vibe and shit, and she was using tactics. Like I remember because I was just like, nope, 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 nope. And then
You were
one day,
like this. You were like,
facts.
like
I'm
I
talking
understand,
about all this shit, but we kicking it though, right? And I remember one time she had invited me over and shit, and she had made like some steak and lobster and all this other stuff, and after we got done eating, and she was just like, yeah, I'm about to go run this bath and whoopie blah whoop whoop, and I'm like, that's what's up, and she was like, no, I want you to come get in the tub with me and shit, right? And so I'm like, man,
broke it down, Woon. You broke it down.
and I got up in it. Real niggas take bubble baths. I told y'all last show.
You did say that.
So that's what kind of kicked it off. And she was like, I finally got this nigga to bite, like, you know what I mean? Because we was kicking it at a level, but
Yeah,
that
got him.
level. Yeah, she got me. She got me.
She broke you down, player. She broke you down,
But
playboy.
yeah, but not. But to answer your question, it's just like, you know, if you're not, if somebody's coming at you with something, as just like how, and I think he was referring to like how men use certain things to get at women, and if women use that same tactic, how do we feel about it? Um, and I have to be honest, like sometimes it could be kind of like if they're like overly aggressive and shit, sometimes that shit could be a turnoff. Like, you know what I mean? Because like especially where I'm at right now, because I'm trying to catch a vibe. Like I really we gotta vibe out in some type of way and shit. You feel me? So on that type of time, hell yeah. But if the younger me is like, hold on, you want to do what? Outside of the story I just now told you because I was practicing abstinence, I'll
Sure.
be like, hey, so what you say he's gonna do again? What's wrong?
Huh.
Right. Well, if
But
we're
then
talking
It's
about
you
different.
feel crazy after a minute because then it's just like you sold yourself and you feel like a little gigolo.
well, if we're talking about the younger versus now, yeah, I mean, I have some stories as well, but I just want to welcome Rainey.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey,
Hi,
shout
y'all.
out, what's up with Randy?
Welcome,
And shout out
welcome.
to
Good,
Big
what's good?
Cat and shit too.
I just tapped in. I had to watch the Cavaliers get beat by the Pacers, which sucked, but whatever. Before I could tap in, because I was doing a lot of yelling right now. So I just been kind of
Oh,
like listening. I'm just listening right now. You know what I mean? Until I feel like I could jump in on it, because I just came in just a few minutes ago.
gotcha. We're
Hey, what
talking
was
about
that question you
relationships.
had when I was talking to you earlier, CJ?
Yeah, say that again.
That question you had when
Oh,
we were talking earlier.
so again, the topic for tonight's conversation is relationships. And so I had just taken some notes and for myself to bring to the conversation. And I have here like what does a healthy relationship feel like to the group? Not just
Mm,
what it looks like, not what it means, but what does it feel like? And I asked that question because, from afar, what a relationship looks like versus what it means, but have we experienced the feeling of a healthy relationship? Because I've been in, you know, you know, some relationships, and I can say not all of them have felt healthy. Not all of them have been. Some have. And to be able to say that I have experienced feeling a healthy relationship has been cool. It's been amazing, like it
for
gives
sure.
hope. Like, and I'm not like here to man bash or whatever. I do believe that there are good men out there. I have dated good men and I'm a good woman, so it always, depends on what the person pulls out of you and how you, interact in a relationship. But again, what does a healthy relationship feel like? Because oftentimes, I know we know from what we saw our parents, or if we're parents ourselves, what we have displayed to our children, what unhealthy relationships are.
Mhm.
So, what does a healthy relationship feel like?
Whew. I don't know if anybody wants to take that first.
Um,
If
I
not,
will just I'll just say real quick, for me, what it feels like is like comfortability. Like, I'm very big on being comfortable. Like,
for sure.
as I, peaceful, comfort, safety, that because with
mhm.
comfort comes, you're able to pull your walls go down. You can be your authentic self. As I mentioned before, I'm really big on being who I am, and so I need to feel comfortable, safe. you know those
Mhm.
are just a few things that I could think of off the top of my head.
Nah, you good. You had mentioned what did you mention that kind of clicked me? But anyway, I'll probably remember it as I'm
Sure.
speaking. But just having that level of freedom, right? Of bringing things out of you. That's what you said, right?
Oh,
So if
Yes.
so talking about that is just like, because we're talking sometimes people refer to your partner as like your better half and shit, right?
Right.
So better half meaning when I'm not functioning at whatever percent, then this person is going to be my better half in that situation. So there may be times to where that person brings this up out of me and shit, right? Um,
hmm
and a lot of the times, in relationships and in just and I'm not saying just intimate relationships, but in any type of relationship, that's kind of like what we do. It's rare that we're putting things into people. It's more so that we're bringing things out of people, right? And as long as you have that understanding and that once I have me personally, I have that want to be free. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying free to go move about and do some crazy shit, but just feel free. Like, you know what I mean? Because I like to have the freedom to express myself without restriction. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
So for me, it's just like if I'm dealing with somebody, they have to understand that, and not only understand it, they have to be a part of that freedom as well. Because if I'm free and you're my person who I'm gonna be with, I want you to be free as well. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that sense of, okay, so what can we do to make each other that much more freer? Like, you know what I mean? So
Can you give an example of what you mean by free?
for sure. So for me, like, you know what I mean? Like, because my expressive side, right? I like to
Oh,
express myself a lot, and I'm a creative, right? And I have like, I'm a visionary. So when it comes down to that, I've been into situations to where it's just like, well, you put a lot into this, and sometimes you overlook me. But it's
mm,
okay. Well, maybe that could be true because that's your perspective. But
mm,
you met me like this. I've
mm.
always been like this. Like, you know what I mean. So you have to understand what type of man that you're dealing with, because if you don't, you're going to seem like it's going to feel like you're not like either I'm not looking at you a certain way or you're doing something wrong. When
Mm,
really the meeting of the worlds have to come into place. So
mhm.
when people say, "Well, I got to get with somebody that's on my same type of time," meaning if I got something going on over here, you got something going on over there. Now we don't have to argue about, well, you're
Right.
putting into this, because we understand each other just based on the fact that we both have something going on,
I
right?
agree with that.
And it's a beautiful thing if we're able to blend our worlds together and work as a unit. Like,
Mhm,
you know what I
mhm.
mean? So on that type of time, that's what I'm saying. So I got to have that freedom to ultimately be me. But I'm going to also make sure that that person, whoever I'm dealing with, has that same level of freedom. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm going to provide the space for you to be free. I'm going to protect that space
Mhm.
of freedom. Like, you know what I mean? So provide and protect, it don't always have to do with money and on some like literal protection. Like, you know what
No,
I
I
mean?
get it.
It could be just that space. You could protect that
Right.
innocence, their well-being, all these different things and shit, right? So a lot of the times, like, there's miscommunication in certain situations, and me personally is just like, nah. I like to be free, and I want, and not just like I said, not only who I'm dealing with intimately, but the people around me
For
to be
sure.
free, be them true selves. Like, you know what I mean? And if I'm able to be in that space, it might vibe out for a long time, like, you know what I mean. But I understand that it's going to be ups and downs and trials and tribulations, and because you're still figuring yourself out, and then you're still trying to figure them out, and then you're still trying to figure y'all out, like, you know what I mean. So there's a lot of different things that's happening in that space. But again, not to take up too much time, for me, just that level of freedom, um is that I think that's comfortable to me. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, now I
hmm
don't have to worry about you worrying about me. Because
Exactly.
just like I said earlier, I was telling females, hey, I don't want to be in a relationship. So if I'm telling you that I want to be in a relationship with you, you don't got to worry about me cheating. So X that shit out your brain. Like, you know what I
Mhm,
mean? Give me that
mhm.
freedom of saying, okay, well, you know that I'm out and I gotta talk to people. This is a part of what I do. Like, you know what I mean? So you gotta understand what type of person that I am. And of course, you gotta understand that I'm not gonna be on no disrespectful shit. Like, you know what I mean? So it's a lot that comes with that shit. Like, you know what I mean? But once you really get to know me on a personal level, and then we take it to a relationship level, the only thing, like, I just want would be that level of understanding, like, you know what I mean, which
Mhm.
comes with freedom, which comes with comfortability to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would like to add to that too. Like being comfortable and trust. I think go hand in hand too. Because it's like like when you saying like running into troubled waters, or if y'all have some sort of disagreements, that trust of like we're arguing to make it through it versus like we're arguing to on the verge of breakup. You know what I'm saying? Like versus like because it's like it seems like it's like it's either or. You know what I mean? On that spectrum, every time
Right.
an argument pops up, it's like the first instinct is to just instantly be like, all right, so how far this way are we gonna go? You know
What
what
we
I'm
doing?
saying? Like how far backwards is this gonna take us? Like,
Mm.
are we gonna break up over this? Or you know what I'm saying? Versus like looking at it from a perspective of like, okay, we got something right here on this plate. You know what I mean? We not
Right.
even thinking. You said breaking up. What? We not thinking.
Right.
We got something right here on this plate that we trying to figure out so that we can continue on this journey. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's that understanding between both parties that it's like, I'm not, I'm here for the long haul ultimately. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, regardless of what's popping, I'm here for the long haul. And if you got that in your mind, it's gonna be hard to you feel me shift that up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Especially if you really settled in where you at and what you want, and you know what I'm saying, where you headed and what you see, like you said, as a visionary, where you're leading the family or however, you know what I'm saying, the dynamic is, then it's like I'm not throwing all this away. Like I've already done came so far. Like we gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like we're pushing past certain things. So
Thanks.
like when you say what's a healthy relationship, I think it looks like a lot of different things for a lot of different people.
Mm.
For
You know what I
sure.
mean? Depending on the situation and the circumstance. Because not to say like, people like you getting beat by your dude, but you staying, that's healthy. Like, no, I'm staying. We fighting for, we trying to fight for the better at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But he over there punching on you and shit. You got black eyes and all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Mhm.
Right.
nah, not that type. But you're gonna go through turbulence. You're gonna go through the ups and downs, you know what I mean? And it's really up to them to where it's like, is it worth me going through all of this with this person or not? You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I mean, you
Right.
you mentioned. Oh, go ahead, Rainey.
No, I was going to add to that. Like when Woon was talking about being free, so just somebody who was in 28 straight years of two back-to-back marriages, right?
Whew.
Um, for me, being free is no longer viewing people as ownership, right? And what I mean by that is often we say, that's my man, that's my husband, that's my
Mm.
this, that's my that. At any given time, that could be taken away, whether it's
Mhm.
by another person, whether it's death, whatever, you know what I mean? So I look at everything in this timeline as like temporary. So when I think of a healthy relationship and how that feels, it is very freeing and it's very exhilarating. When I came out of my last divorce, I've only been intimate with one person in the last 2 years, but we had a strong spiritual connection. It wasn't like, oh, I met him over here. It was a spiritual connection that I had with this individual, but we came to terms that that's all it was going to be. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's going to be some intimacy and a connection on a spiritual level, and now that's just my best friend. Like
Mm.
we don't even hook up on that level anymore. You know what I mean? But that relationship still is tight. He can come over, he can stay the night, but he sleeps downstairs on my couch. We'll vibe out, watch games, listen to music, do the whole thing. And our relationship is still like it was in the beginning, but we just knew that it wasn't gonna, progress. Like how Woon was saying, like, I don't want a relationship right now. I don't want a relationship right now. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
one thing I don't want, and neither does he. What he wants is a lot different than what I want. He's kind of going back to like older type style roots. Like, I want three wives and this, and
Yeah.
that's cool. And I support him in that. And I'm like, okay, well, when you have your, three wives and 10 kids, I'll stop by and babysit. But other than that, I don't want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Right.
like that's healthy. That's our healthy relationship, to recognize like that wasn't going to work for us in that aspect, and for us to still be able to continue a healthy, honest, supportive relationship. You know what I mean? Even though like that didn't work out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think it's just exhilarating. That's how I look at it. Free and exhilarating.
It definitely can be, when I can agree with that. It gives you a new energy, that I'm trying to speak in not in first person, but I'm gonna have to. It gave me an energy that I hadn't felt before. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because I typically, my choice in partnership would be, you know, it was different. And so, I mean, I've dated on the spectrum from, you know, all between and from one end to the other. And so, but also to what you said, Josh, about like not arguing, to like this is the end all be all. I tend to be very, I don't want to say animated. No, I'm not animated, but I do have a strong opinion and a strong voice, but I'm not argumentative. But so when I am conversing with someone, it's not that I'm trying to like this is the end. No, it's just I'm just trying to share with you how I feel. And and I'm trying to work on that. Like unfortunately it may not come out like soft and so it comes out like raw, kind
Right,
of.
right.
And so then again, like what we were talking about before, like the message can get lost.
Mm,
And a person will feel like I'm trying to be, I'm mad to where I'm trying to leave and it's over. And that's not the case. I'm a for relationship person. You know, but so there's that point, not arguing to end things, but discussing to work through it.
mhm.
Whether that means, and sometimes, the reality is when you are conversing that it's maybe you come to the conclusion that it's best to separate. Just
That's a
because you
fact.
converse, that doesn't mean that it's gonna be all, we're gonna stay together. No, but it's just having that understanding, and that space to be able to share how you feel.
Right.
And then he did mention something about like feeling like secure, I believe. And for me, that's a huge thing. Like I feel like there's been none of the maybe there has been in my past relationships men that I wasn't ready for, though. I can say that I wasn't ready
Ooh,
for.
that's hot.
And yeah, and then because I want to say like none of them have stayed. Like it's like we always end up breaking up, you know what I mean? Whether it's me initiating it, I don't know. I feel like people don't value relationships. It's so much easier to just say like I'm gonna go,
That
or
part right
you
there.
know, and I'm like, what happened? I mean, what happened? I was married for 16 years and I put up, my ex-husband was in and out of prison. And I stayed, I mean, that I wasn't always a good wife. But I just don't understand how people just can bounce, man. I don't get it.
Yeah. That's just being in a relationship. I've been in some long relationships. Um, and I know what it feels like. But just like you were saying, like, sometimes when you get to a certain point, and it don't even gotta be no real beef. You can just actually be with somebody for so long that when you first got with that person, you could have a young state of mind. Like you could be in a whole different state of mind. And then as you progress within a relationship, you're also progressing internally. So you could probably wake up one day and look at somebody and be like, hey, I really don't think that I used to like the old me. And
See,
guess
and
what?
then that's
Because
what
I don't like the old me, you is a part of the old me that I no
that's
longer
the
like.
scary part though,
Right.
because that's also,
So
a person
it
can
is. It's real scary. So that's what I was saying about like the level of freedom. It's just like the more that you allow somebody to express themselves, right? But you're still giving them that space. We have to understand, and like what Randy was saying, like in terms of just the okay, this is my girl, right? So you run around with that mentality, like, hey, you're not allowed to do what you want to do because you're my girl. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, nigga, hold on. I didn't come out your motherfucking nutsack. Like, so what are you talking about, your girl? Like, I don't even get that. Like, you know what I mean? So it comes down to that level of how do we be able to let somebody be free, but be with you at the same time. Be with you, not your mind. Like
Right.
we're in a union.
Yes, some people will feel insecure in that because they feel, that you're not like, there's a sense of insecure. There can be.
I I
There
wouldn't
That's
say
can
because
I,
they
Right.
got
That
unhealed issues.
Yeah.
A
I
lot
mean,
of
and
times,
that
you know
goes
what?
from
Well,
women
that goes
and
back
men.
to experience, right? We sometimes get in relationships with people sooner than when we actually know them, right? And then we realize in these relationships that, like, I don't even like this person, right? But we try to make it work. And I think a lot of us have stayed even in relationships past expiration dates, right? I just know for like me, how I'm operating on things, it's like I gotta really get to know a person before I even want to even go out and start to date you. You know what I mean? That has to be conversations and just seeing like where your mind is and like what do you have going for yourself? Like, you know what I mean? How do you treat the women in your life? I want to know
Oh,
these types of things before I even consider putting myself out there to date somebody. You know what I mean? Because of my past experiences and my past relationships. But one thing I won't do is start a relationship with somebody bringing in old feelings of a past relationship and make assumptions that this person is going to fail me like the last person or do the same things that the last person has done, right?
right.
So I have a tendency to move accordingly with people, and it's like I will trust you. I put my trust into people until they show me that I can't trust them. You know what I mean? I'm not like the type of people like don't trust anybody. No, I'll trust you until you show me I can't trust you, right?
Right.
And I need concrete proof, not an assumption, not like, oh, you left and were gone a little too long, so you must have been doing some type of shit. No, that's what I mean by that freedom too. We should be able to be free and have our own space away
Right.
from our partners too, right? Because
Right.
I like my solitude now. Being separated now, I mean, I absolutely love my space, my solitude. Occasionally, you know what I mean? It's like it'd be cool to have somebody, you know what I mean, to chill with and stuff like that. But
Right.
I value like my solitude because I've actually found the happiness within, right? So I think that's where like a lot of us go wrong is that we're not comfortable sometimes sitting with ourselves. So we find ourselves in these relationships that we don't even really like sometimes. You know what I
That's
mean?
Attaching yourself to a person, and that's crazy work.
Yeah.
Hey, but that shit happens because it's like sometimes, like I kind of like what you were saying, like based off of situations too. Like y'all
Mm-hmm.
might come together based off of a certain situation. Y'all both in a certain situation, and y'all can relate to that situation. But as soon as somebody moves past that situation, like you say, you wake up and you're like, okay, this person really ain't for me for real. Like they were for me to get me past that situation,
yes. I've
but
done.
Right.
I've
you know what I'm
done.
saying? But like now it's like, oh no,
Yes.
not for from here on, you know.
Right.
Right.
There was this I forgot who it was, but growing up, somebody said some people are like stepping stones, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So to get you from one spot to the next. So
Right.
some people are there to like when it comes to relationships, it's like some people there to help you learn a certain lesson. And then once you
Absolutely.
get out of that lesson, they were preparing you for your husband, or you know what I'm saying? Like the actual one that you're
Well,
supposed to be
shit.
rocking with.
Where is he at?
And that's why, because I was thinking about that like some years back, and I was just like, people be like, yeah, that's my ex, my ex, my ex, my ex. What the fuck is an ex? And I was like, ex has to be short for experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like now that person has gave you the experience that you need in order to move on to the next person. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why, and that's why it's so important just to be open with your situation. And when I say open, I'm just saying be like, okay, well, because people sometimes they go into a damn, it was a me situation. Maybe I did something wrong, maybe all this other stuff. But then it's just like, nah, like everything, and I hate to go deep, but everything is a reflection of you for you. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like when you get into certain spaces, start to go in like, well, just like I was saying, like sometimes we go into relationships trying to put something into somebody rather than bringing it out of them. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like if you understand, like, okay, well, now I'm mixing my energy with this person's energy. There's something that's going to transpire from this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? And it's a learning experience. So what I was going to say prior to that is just like, so if we're seeing ourselves go up this ladder, be it, mental, spiritual, whatever, financial, if you see yourself being with that person, then it's just like, okay, let us converse, let us build on a daily with both how I'm feeling, how I'm thinking, how I'm vibrating, that way. So it's just like, okay, now we're coming up together. Like, you know what I mean? But if I see that you're not putting in the same amount of work, or if you're not as interested in the things that I'm doing right now, that's clearly letting me know that at some point in time, that I'm going to outgrow you, or we're just
Right.
to be like, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And
So
then,
I think, go ahead.
no, sorry, go ahead.
So I think what I've learned that kind of
One
that
second.
leads to is like what is it, like accepting people where they're at now,
Yep.
because as women we tend to want to like you said, pour into a man. And if he's not necessarily, if he's not there and receptive to it, you get frustrated. He gets frustrated. Although sometimes they'll say, like, no, 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 I like when you're like that. But then like you're encouraging him to like maybe try something, right? But then it's like, but then it's like, are you, then there's that, I don't want you to be my mom. I'm not, then the woman's like, I'm not trying to raise a child. So it's like, I'm learning to like accept people for where the man for where he's at. And it's like,
For sure.
you cannot, you just do, and it sucks though. Cause it's like, you want to, no, it doesn't, because I was going to say it sucks, but no, it just means you just support them where they're at. Stop trying to make somebody come up to your level or be interested in the things that you are. If they're not, they're just not. It doesn't mean that you can't still grow together, but it takes two individuals to want to make that work.
For sure.
That's like that. Like I got a partner, and he kind of going through something like this, to where he's dealing with a female where he's questioning whether or not he wants to continue messing with her, and he's on the verge of like, yeah, like he's at a certain level regardless of if that's high or low, and she's at a different level. You know what I mean? And he's like, I like to go hiking. She don't really like to go hiking like that. And I'm like, okay, is that a deal breaker? Like, you know what I mean? Is that something you
These
could do?
days, that'll be a deal breaker.
You know what I mean? Like, is
People
that
would
something you
want,
could deal with? Like, do
woo,
you mind going on hikes by yourself, or will you go with somebody else? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is that a deal breaker, or are you good? And he's just like, yeah, nah, but he's thinking in his mind, but I could find somebody that likes to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I could do that with, he was like, so that's in the back of his mind. And so
Right.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, or you might find that, but then she might not like something else that you may like. You know what I'm saying? So now you're still going to have to deal with
yeah,
something when it comes to like, what you like and what she may like, and then at that point, you have to kind of decide like, okay, are you willing to, in a sense, build her up to try to get her to a point of like where, she will actually go on a hike with you. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, but if she do, I know in the back of my mind, like she really don't want to be out here. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, at the same time, I'm like, but if she's trying, if she's giving you the effort and she's actually putting in that time to actually really do it, and you really see her, you know what I'm saying, like sitting in the moment for reals in those situations, I'm like, then, what else did that's exactly what you was asking for. You know what I'm saying? So it's really like, do you feel like you want to take the time to you know, have somebody try to meet you where you at, because I'm pretty sure on the opposite end, she's probably gonna be like, man, I wish you was doing a little bit more of this. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so both of y'all is gonna have to meet each other. And that's the whole point of y'all coming together and saying, okay, I want to do this. Like, I want to be in a relationship with you. I fuck with you because of this, and this and this we could work with. You know what I'm saying? Like, these is the aspects I'm willing to, you feel me, lean and bend and do all those things with. You know what I'm saying?
Right. To shake it up a little bit, because CJ, you had said something earlier about, you know, accepting people for who they are. And I know that there is a few women out there that like the man that wants to be at the house on a PS5 and they only need 3 Newports. A PS5 and 3 Newports and they good. Like, you know what I mean? But I even think, and I'm gonna have to ask the women that because I don't know what that looks like for y'all. But I know
all for that one.
I'm keeping it a stack because sometimes you know you see women like that, be like, yeah, you know, because other women be like, well, why are you with this dude? And he's like, but he don't go nowhere. Like he don't do nothing. He don't do none of that. So he just literally, I know where he's at. I bought him this PS5. The new Jordans is gonna come out in 2 months. I'm gonna get him those, and he's just gonna be chilling at the house. Like, you know what I mean? So he's not a provider in a financial sense, but he's not cheating on me though. So how does that work? That works for me.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one because that's a good one. I mean, because and you know, you could get bored with that though too. And so he has to be good in other areas. Like, you know, you gotta, maybe he does something else, like maybe he cooks or maybe he's like good in bed, you know.
You're gonna have a foundation, like, you know, your core elements of, you know, what makes you you type shit, and then all of the other kinks and quirks, you know what I'm saying, that you might be able to iron out.
My bad, I was superficial.
If you could deal with that core, that's what you were saying, right? Like, if you could deal with that core. That's how I'm looking. Like, if you could deal with the core, then what's the other shit? You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you. Wait. I want to tap into what Rainey said, because before I forget. She said, because before you came on, Rainey, I had mentioned something about, you know, being cool with men and wanting to just go out and not have any expectation of them or them of me. But unfortunately, that I've ran into the pure opposite. They tend to, you know, they say they're okay with just hanging out, but as you know, they want more than that. So, you know, like you said, you know, before even going out these days, you know, it's you know, you want to get to know them. But it seems like it's too much for them. It's too much of the process of that. They get lost. They're like, man, it's too much work. You know what I mean? It's like, because there's females out here that don't require that. They're like, you know, they're easier to deal with. I've been told, you know, that I want too much. It's all or nothing being with me. And I'm like, I mean, so yeah, it's, you know, I feel like you should get to know someone, and I mean, because then you may decrease your chances of giving yourself to someone that you should have not. And you know, body count is important, you know, as we start to get, it's that, you know, when you're younger, I don't even think then, but you know, even more so as you mature. And so I'm like, with that, you can get to know someone as much as possible and it still goes south, you know? So
yeah, it's what there's a few things that could be going on. Like it's just like you said. Like sometimes people don't even want to take the time to even get to know somebody because maybe in their past that shit did not work, right? So it's just like,
Mhm.
man, I just not wasted all this time. And if you ain't doing this shit right now today, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? But
Right.
also simultaneously, we are in the Insta age. Like, you know, everybody got ADHD if you ain't already in a relationship. And I'm not, I hate to blanket it like that, but what I'm saying is that like, you know, go and I hate to deviate, but real quick, like even like little kids right now, like they got access to so much shit. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't have it how we had it, and they didn't have to, you know, really go outside and go to the mall and you know, that's how you find chicks and different. Only thing you gotta do is go on these apps and you got instant access to whoever. Like, you know what I mean? So imagine you trying to say, hey, no, you know, I'm a good girl, I'm gonna hold out, just like you were saying, I'm gonna wait because you know it's a precious thing for me and you got 50,000 other females twerking on your shit. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, well, I'm living for the moment. Like, you know, that's what I'm saying about the ADHD. I'm living for the moment. So if in the moment right now that you ain't trying to give me what I'm looking for and I didn't already wasted time with some other shit, guess what? I'm gonna go to this girl and I do have 220s in my wallet right now if need be. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like if you ain't and it get a little tricky like that because I would think that you know people around our age wouldn't vibrate on that type of time, but that shit is all across the board from the young life to the I think everybody in their 70s. And I used to we used to be in the group chat and shit, and I used to tell people they were like, "Well, when you gonna settle down and get married?" And I'd be like, "On my deathbed,
Oh
on my
my
deathbed."
goodness.
Like as soon as they finna say, "Yep, well, you got 5 hours," I'd be like, "Hey, I do."
Oh my God. You still feel that way?
Um, it if somebody comes,
He's
I have to give you the fact. If somebody if somebody comes
That
and
nigga got the
proves me
stuttering.
wrong, then nah, then I don't feel that way. But I
if
know
somebody what?
if somebody come and proves me wrong, like you know what I mean,
Okay.
they're like, well, you ain't gotta die in order for this shit to happen. Like you know what
Hey,
I
hey,
mean?
but hey, would you say that you looking for the perfect person for
I
you?
think uh well, if we're talking about perfect, because you know how I think like perfect ain't everything that I want. Because they could give me something that I don't even know that I want until they present the shit to me. Like, you know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So through trials and tribulations, arguments and shit like that, hell yeah, like I don't expect y'all sort of coming to America when he was like jump on one leg and the bitch barking like a dog. She was doing all this shit. He like, I'm gonna get bored with this bitch. So I'm excuse my language, but I'm gonna get bored with her. So it's just like, nah, like I don't even want that. I want a little bit of, confrontation. Like a lot of the females that I talk to and shit, yeah, stupid. A lot of the females that I talk to and shit, we talk for a long time, and it's just converse. And I'm gonna have to see, where you at, what your likes are, what your dislikes are, how do we function when something ain't popping? Like, you know what I mean? And there's
Right.
certain ways, like, okay, and I'm wiggling and I'm navigating. Hopefully, they're doing the same thing with me. Like, you know what I mean? But that's why I like to be as open and honest as possible. That way, you don't get a misconception about who I am. Therefore, you kind of know what you're coming into when you fucking with me. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, it's just like, if I can find somebody that I don't want to say truly know who they are, but they have a sense of it, and then they don't mind, trying to blend the worlds together, then it's all good. Like, you know what I mean? But in terms of somebody that just want to be out and just doing all this extra shit, it's just like I see that everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? But if that's I can but then again, there's a time and place for everything. So if you want to be out and dance and have fun and get loose, but at the house you letting me know that I'm that nigga, then I don't care about you going out and having fun. Like I want you to be free. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So it's all about how you vibe with that person in the communication. Just like I said, I talk to people a lot. So it's just like the communication is there. I know who you are, you know where we at. We spent enough time with each other. And if you're smart
Mhm.
enough, I'm going through all these different things just to see how we respond to each other when the shit ain't all butterflies and roses. Like, you know what I mean? So when it gets to the bad shit, what does that shit look like? How we were saying earlier, or how Self was saying about, okay, is we arguing to get past some shit, or you looking at the door? Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
for
Mhm.
me, a lot of the times I tell women like, I don't think that I'm ever going to be mad to where I hate you. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like I obviously anything that you do, you're doing it because it's a part of who you are.
Mm,
Why would I get mad at that? Like, you know, like what does that look like? To me, that's like trying to stunt that person's growth.
mm,
Because sometimes, but now, do I have to stay there while they're figuring it out? No, I don't have to
Mm-mm.
because
mm.
it's not serving me at that time. So it's just like I'm gonna allow you to do you, like you know what I mean. But at the same time, and I might even pick up the phone. Hey, you good? Woody woo. Okay, everything is straight. Okay, cool. Like you know what I mean. I was just checking in on you. Feel me? Because sometimes we do need to go through different stages of our lives in order to get something out of us, in order to go back or even get into a relationship in general. Like you know what I mean. So that's what I'm saying. Like with that freedom shit, it's just like sometimes you allow people to be who they are so you can see if that person is for you or not.
Mm. So we have a question though. I see in the chat. Um, Labera asked, "How do you guys feel about women and their body count?"
That's
That's a good.
mom.
Oh yeah, that's mom's right there. Um, we had a conversation about this.
Yeah, we did have it. Yeah, that was
Oh, where do we start?
that
So
Ooh
let
was
me.
a
wee.
wild one too. That was a whole podcast show for real.
Yeah, for
Was
real,
it?
for real. Um,
Uh,
so me personally, right? And word to my homeboy Snag, because he said this. You would never know a woman's body count.
whether
You
she
can
telling
you
you
can
the truth or
Facts.
not.
you can accept you can
Hey, drop
accept
a bomb on that one.
it.
Huh.
You can accept the number that she gives you. Okay, so if you accept that number, you accept it. But if it's higher or lower, what is it a mind thing? What does that look like, right? But if my boy Twan was on here, he would say, how would he approach this? He would say something like, well, how many different people you intertwine your energy with and take a piece of that with you, that's when the body count becomes, a matter because now she's dealing with all these different energies. So it's just like, well, who are you? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you taking time to dispel all
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things and break these soul ties and shit
Right,
like that? Or are
right.
you just humping from body to body to body, and now you want to be in a relationship with me, right? So for me personally, I respect that aspect as well. But for me, it's just like the mentality, like you know what I mean? Like, cause sometimes, like and I hate to say it like this, but we come into this world through sex, like you know what I mean. So we're naturally sexual beings, like you know what I mean. So on that type of time, when it comes down to the mentality, though, it's just like okay, well, you know, she got a lot of bodies, but that was just her getting past whatever life experiences that she to get past, like you know what I mean. And if you truly vibing out with that person, and it's just like my partner Drew here asked, so check all these boxes that you're looking for in relationship, all of them. But she has a high body count. Are you going to let her body count, her past, fuck up everything that you got going, or what you gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? So I think that if we ask about the women and their body count, to me, it's just a mentality. Like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people be out there, like, you know what I mean? I didn't have my fair share of women, and if women judge men by that same characteristic, it's just like, okay, so what is it about? Like, you know what I mean? But I could naturally just have a natural love for women, which I do. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't even sleep with all of them. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes we just talk. But when it comes down to how I'm looking at them, like if a woman told me a number, right? Of course, I'm gonna be like, woo. If it's high, I'm like, all right. So what we doing? Like, you know what I mean? But then if we still vibe and it's just like, oh, well, we got a dope ass hook. What does that look like? Like, you know what I mean? So at that point in time, and what Self was asking me earlier, am I looking for a perfect relationship? Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like me, sex is almost secondary, right? Because and I'm not trying to go into myself, but when it comes down to how you're vibing with somebody, that level of intimacy is equal to sex, if not higher, right? The sex part is only enacting what you're feeling in real time in the physical, like you know what I mean. So sex has already been played out in the mind sex, or what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm deep in thought right now. but it's gonna come to me. The people who's attracted to minds and they get turned on by the shit. But
Sapio.
sapiosexual, there you go. So when it comes down to that, it's just like you're already engaging with these people, and me anyway, and having sex through conversation, through vibration, and then the physical part happens after that. Just like how we be saying stuff like things come mental first and then physical, or the spiritual then the physical. So if you have a spiritual connection with somebody, you already had sex. Like, you know, if you're I might be giving up too much game, but fuck it, it's all good. but at the end of the day, so the body count after that, it don't even matter. Like, you know what I mean? But now you get some people that have certain preferences, and you know, is the wall still intact and different things like that. So when it comes down to that, it's just like, okay, well, now it's a problem because hey, we didn't vibed out, and then I get there and I can't even get off in the way that in the way that I would think is would serve right for a relationship. Like, you know what I mean? So that may trigger a person to cheat. I don't know. It just depends on the type of person that you are. But me personally, like, you know, you can find other ways. Like, if you really truly are fucking with somebody, you'll find some ways to look past, you know, the sexual shit. Like, you know what I mean? For real, as far as like the body count. And I know that was long. I know that was long, but I had to get that one off.
No, got it. I would say, you know, so say you disregard a person's body count, you know, for whatever reason, because and then you pursue you know, continue a relationship with them, and you know, I'm going to play devil's advocate, and then you know, some time goes by, and for whatever reason they step out. Now you're feeling like I shouldn't have, you know, like you're pissed at yourself because you feel like you played yourself because you already knew this person was like this from the gate.
Right.
So, you know, it's kind of a tricky, you know, it's a tricky subject, you know.
That's like that's pretty much like this question.
Yeah, exactly.
If a man doesn't see that woman as his number one, but continues to sex her down, isn't he just adding to the body count?
For sure, I say yes.
And see, so when we talk, and that's why I brought up what my partner Antoine had mentioned, because imagine,
because that's what I was thinking. I already know what you finna say. Like on some, like if you vibing out with damn near the person that like the person of your dreams in a sense, you know what I'm saying? I like if you is that gonna overshadow pretty much where y'all at as far as how y'all vibe? Like, are you gonna find that vibe anywhere else? You know what I'm saying? If not, then it's like, you know, what would be the point?
yeah, and that's why I'm bringing up the mentality. Because imagine that she's with a dude and they're having sex 3 times a day, every day. So is it
The same dude?
That's what I'm saying. So if we're just hyper focused on the sexual,
got you.
Are we hyper focused on the sexual act, or are we hyper focused on where her mentality is at? Like, you know what I mean? In terms of, I'm just gonna do it with this dude, that dude, this dude. But it's just like, but he could be knocking them walls out as well as a lot of other different dudes. Like, so now it depends on, okay, yeah. So what does that look like? And I think that again, so I think that the mentality of us men would say, hey, well, why are you, you know, why so many? Like, you know what I mean? And then we have to go into that. And then if they're honest enough, they can say whatever that their answer is. But then again, it's just like I was saying, like if you want to accept it, if she checks all other boxes, and I think that you could probably look past that, like for real. Like, you know what I mean?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Yeah,
in my younger
man.
in my younger days, it'd be like that. It'd be, you know, you'd be like, wait, how many? Oh yeah, no, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So,
but
and that's honest, because I think all dudes look at female. That's why it's a thing right now, because dudes be like, "Your body count looking like."
but
You know
then,
what I mean?
yeah, but then is it like fair to, I mean, is it with all of the easy access, as you mentioned earlier, with, you used the term, because of social media and all of the different apps where you
Yeah,
can, I mean,
easy
not that is
access.
sex is so readily available that it's like it's sex first and then getting to know someone. Sex
Right.
first and then what's your name? Sex first and what color do you like? That's like seems to be the first, at the top of the list.
Mhm.
And that's okay if that's what both people want, you know what I mean? But when it just appears to be like right off the rip, that's what they're expecting. It's that shit's like, damn, like calm yourself down, like
That's true. I'm a speak to that though, because also like you know what I mean. Like, cause you can hold off on sex for whatever reason and get into this dope, loving relationship and everything else. But if you get it, and if it's not that, you're gonna be like, bruh,
Huh.
like,
Like, yeah,
and
the
now I
total
gotta
opposite of
commit
it.
to this, and
oh man,
so
look, I
and
feel you
I'm
on
just on
that.
the other side of the coin because sometimes it is important just to be like, all right, what we working with, like you know,
Yeah, huh.
it's just
Let
like
me
you go
test
to a
this. Let me
restaurant.
test this out.
Yeah,
I
you go
plan
to a
on riding
restaurant.
this ride for a long time. Then,
You want a little sample plate, like, and there's
uh,
nothing wrong with that. Like, you know what I mean?
Hey,
right, right.
yeah,
Don't get
man.
serious.
Yeah,
It
I
get a little
agree.
sticky.
I have to admit, I kind of agree with that too, because the worst thing is being with somebody with some lame ass sex. Because, hey, edit that.
Hey, we all
Yeah,
grown.
right.
That shit is terrible, man. That'll have you looking at somebody sideways all the
Yeah.
time.
Right. Especially if you're
uh,
a person that,
uh,
man, like shit get tricky because it's like, man. And then you
huh.
try to
You
run them
start
off.
you start
You,
really thinking about your morals. I mean,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Why you give it up so soon?
Huh. Look at you
oh,
questioning and shit.
Yeah, I don't even. What time
Uh-huh.
is it?
And that's why it's like it's a trick. It get tricky, man. It's tricky when it just comes to navigating dealing with
oh,
anybody for real. You know what I'm saying?
oh
Right.
my god.
But yeah, no, but you know, it's a journey.
Yeah,
Relationships
for
are a
real.
journey. It's it's a beautiful thing when you find that person, that you want. It's a beautiful thing when you find that person who you thought that you wanted and you didn't end up getting, but you needed that person in order to become the person who you are so you can attract the person that you want as well. So
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's a lot of variables. And I know Self mentioned this last show, but we deal with like a lot of mathematics. And if you kind of limit yourself to, this is what's for me and this all this other stuff, you may be missing out on so much when it comes down to the person that may pull up on you. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, it's just like knowing yourself. That's what's going to attract because you're attracted to yourself when you know yourself.
Yeah.
I love me, right? So imagine being attracted to somebody who you see in yourself. And I'm not saying, verbatim or, case by case, but it's just like if I can see me and you, joke, I can see, no, I'm playing with you.
Mhm.
But if I can see me and you, then I can see me and you. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, hopefully, people come into, especially at our age, like, because we had enough time to mature. So hopefully we're going on an internal journey relationship first with self, and
Yeah.
then we go out and seek for something that may reflect that.
Yeah. That's why I be taking like certain people to be in a relationship for 10 years, 12 years or something, a long time. And then when they do separate, that's when they start tapping into self. And then they figure out, like, damn, okay, all this other stuff just to, in a sense, you could say get back in another relationship. But this time it's like they actually did the self work by themselves, you know what I mean, took that time to really get an understanding of, okay, what is it that I'm willing to, go through? Is this even what I want? Like all the questions, you know what I mean? Like you got to go through it all to then realize, okay, like, yep, this is what I want. And then navigate it that way,
For
And
sure.
like the whole perfect person, in reality, I tell myself that there is no perfect person. So to say like who is, like if someone were to ask me who's your perfect person, I don't have. If someone, even the word perfect is like, it's not realistic. So for me to say my perfect person, no, it's not a perfect, because I'm not perfect myself. So I don't want that label, that title to describe what I'm looking for. I would say, a person again that has the, certain qualities, but perfect, mm, that doesn't exist. Someone doesn't. So
it's like,
I
but
think if
even there,
somebody were to come into like, I've talked to guys in the office or whatnot, and they're like, oh, they're like, they can't find women, they can't stay with a woman because they keep having like this ideal of their perfect relationship. There are things that yes, qualities, but what is a perfect relationship? You ask people, married couples that have been together 30, even 10, 15, 20, 30 plus years, there's no perfect relationship. So to use that word is, I think, a setup to failure.
Yeah, you remember that on A Living Color when they had David Allen Greer and was it Kim Wayans, and they was playing like the old couple, and every episode they're trying to kill each other, right? But then at the end they be like, and we still together, like, you know what I mean? So just on that level of, hey, and sometimes people gotta have that type of, Tom and Jerry hero villain, cat and
yeah,
mouse situations where it's just like, hey, that's what kind of keeps this thing spicy. That's what kind of keeps it going. That's what, you know what I mean? Because just like I said, if every day you're doing some everyday shit and it's just like, damn, well, we ain't got nothing to
Spite.
talk about. There ain't no, like, you know what I mean? There ain't no imbalance to balance out the balance. Like, you know what I mean? If there
yeah.
ain't no different levels of energy, it's just like, well, what does that look like, you know what I mean? So I think that people get that confused with saying, man, well, we just don't get along because of this, and she did this, and I do my toilet paper this way, and then she folded, like, so it's all these different things where it's just like, if you're looking for something to complain about,
Oh
you're
no.
the problem, so complain about yourself, like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right. You pointing the
Right.
finger.
Exactly. So
Got
it's just
folk
like,
pointed at you.
right,
Okay.
just like as soon as you accept yourself for who you are, going back to what I was saying, like, then it's just like, oh, I see what that person does. And not to say that you have to stay in that situation, because
Yeah.
sometimes it is a maker, just like what you were saying, CJ, earlier. Sometimes it is a make or break deal. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it is, okay, well, I can't function with that. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
As long as you're open and honest about it. But then sometimes it's just like, all right, I'm tripping. Like, you know what I mean? And
Well,
that's when
see,
you have those conversations. It's like, all right, baby, you was kind of tripping because the only thing I was trying to do is this. The only thing that I was trying to say is this. And maybe you're not used to hearing it from me in this way, but this is what this is. Like, you know what I mean? So it just depends on, what people are ready to put up with.
it's
Right.
like it's like the imperfection. If the imperfection is that thing, like what you were saying, like if it's the thing that's like, okay, keeping y'all moving forward, then it's like, okay, I can rock. But if the
Right.
imperfection is on that type of time to where it's like, yeah, nah, I can't keep moving forward with this type of imperfection, then it's like, yeah, I can't rock. But
Mm.
if you can, continue to build with a certain imperfection, then in a sense, that imperfection is part of the perfect or the
Facts.
perfection because it's helping y'all continue to, you know what I'm saying, grow.
Yeah,
So
it's regardless of what that looks like to other people on the outside.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
So with that, like, I had some questions. That's why I keep kind of looking. Was like
Oh no,
with
you're
all, with like the different with there being the imbalance and there being the imperfections and the complaining and things like that. It's like, when do you introduce the idea of counseling?
woo.
And is it that you go to counseling in relationship counseling or individual counseling? And if it is individual, then do we come together? I know that, oftentimes in, well, I would say like, different cultures, counseling isn't sought. Counseling isn't even
Man, I know
what
what you was
isn't
gonna
even,
say.
you know, yeah,
I feel like that shit.
yeah. So it's like,
Mhm.
but it's like, if we're trying to save ourselves, and you know, we need to utilize our resources,
That's a
because
fact.
sometimes, so what do you all think about counseling?
Um, I have to be honest. I have to be completely honest. Um, I'm not against it. I actually have one of my homeboys who I had referenced earlier. Um, he was going through counseling, or probably even still is going through counseling right now with with his significant other, and you know uh we're able to have conversations about some of the things that goes on in those sessions. And I think that, going to what you just said, I think that he was encouraging both group sessions, like him, her, and the counselor, but then also individual sessions as well.
Mhm.
um and I think that if you're going to go to counseling in general, I think that you should do both. I think heavily that you should do both for sure, because now it's just like, because you may go to counseling and then when you leave, it becomes a blame game. Like, you know
Mm,
what I mean? If there's something that the counselor maybe not seeing from your perspective, and it's just like a competition at that point, but it's just like you. But then when you go sit with the counselor personally, it's just like, now you got to sit and take whatever, you know what
mm.
I mean, that the counselor is going to dish out, and that has nothing to do with your significant other. Like, you know what I mean? So for me personally, that shit get tricky. And I'm keeping it a stack because I like to communicate. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like,
Yeah.
if I'm communicating with you and I'm actively trying to communicate with you and I'm open, like, you know what I mean? And
No, 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 wait. Fuck all that. You said it gets sticky. Who does it get sticky for and why?
no, that's what I'm gonna say. So for me, right? It's just like, if we're, and not to go back to the cliche that you put out, because I knew what you was going to say, and I'm not even taking that approach on that. Like, you know what I mean? But it's just like, if I'm openly, readily communicating with you, openly, honestly, and everything like that. So it's just like, what about how I'm saying this does not work? And I'm talking about, I'm on a regular basis. I talk to people for hours. Like, no matter who it is, if we're talking, we're talking, and we get down to the nittiest of the gritty. Like, you know what I mean? So that is super amplified when I'm in a relationship with somebody intimately, right? So on that type of time, I feel like we should be able to work through things without uh any inside influence. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, outside influence. But if it's a necessary thing, if that person feels like we should do that, and I'm really trying to be with that person, I'm a rock. Like, you know what I mean? If I'm invested into the thing, I'm gonna go all the way. But me personally, it's just like, damn, like, we can't rock this thing out. Like, what we got popping and shit. You feel me? And I would feel like, I thought we was better than that. Like, so I may be immature in that sense, because it's just like, I'm willing to go the distance, but if I feel like we can't, then what's the problem? Like, how is this person gonna tell you or tell us how we're supposed to rock? So I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
on an individual level, like, hey, maybe you, but I would still go though. I ain't even gonna count. I would probably still go. But it's just like, we can't figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? If we can't figure it out, maybe it was.
Look, they got so
But I've never been to counseling. I don't know. That's just theoretics.
I
What
know
else?
of a situation where a couple went to counseling together, and they were explaining like a certain situation where one person said one thing and the other person said another thing. Well, when the one person said what they said to the counselor, the counselor looked at the spouse and was like, okay, so why didn't you try that? And in a sense, it's like, why do you need somebody to tell you what's already taking place? Like, it's taking you have a middleman there, but you say one thing to them and they're like, okay, and like you're just sitting there watching a conversation take place between two people, but it's happening through the third person, versus the two people being able to just sit there and have that same conversation. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm glad you share my same sentiments because I did not want to sound like no asshole about what I said. Right?
nah, I get that
you
though. I get that. But at the
Yeah.
same time, like I also get the other end, which is like if you're in your mind already thinking about like, damn, I think we got to go to counseling, or I think I need to go to counseling, then yes, you very much do need to go to counseling because there's something that you feel like somebody else can help you with outside of yourself, and that within itself is like, hopefully the counselor is showing you yourself, you know what I mean, as a reflector, because everything at the end of the day, all he's telling you is how to communicate effectively by yourself now. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel like you can't do it. So you go to somebody else, they gonna say, this is how you try to do this by yourself. And then you go home and then you do it by yourself versus like just literally taking the time out to figure out, like you said, how to communicate effectively. If you're not communicating, like you got to be able to listen. That's ultimate. You're gonna go to the the counselor. Somebody's gonna say something. The counselor gonna be like, now did you listen to what they just said? What does that mean to you? Like all of this stuff are the types of communications you're supposed to have, between your spouse. So
Sure.
it's like,
Yeah,
if you
and
can really narrow it down and lock in, then you wouldn't need a counselor. But if you need one, you need one.
Yeah.
And I think it's on Sage Smoke, and you said the line, subconscious got me sitting in the back seat, right?
Uh-huh.
So imagine now if the and you were talking about driving, right? So it's just like, imagine you're putting yourself into third, because going to what you just now said, a counselor is only a third person. They're the fly on the wall that is able to observe and report. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So imagine prior to that happening, and while I reference your song, because it's just like, imagine you say, hey, fuck what I'm thinking that you're saying, and fuck what I think that you should be doing. Let me tap into my spiritual side of myself and see what it is that you're really wanting, that you're really saying, that you're really trying to get across. Fuck my ego. My ego is going to take the back seat, and now I'm going to allow my spirit or my higher self to really listen to you. Like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we get blinded or even deafened by our human self, like, you know what I mean, by our egos and what we think that we want. And it's just like, hold on, before I even jump out the window on that, let me, besides getting beside myself, let me separate myself from that part of myself that just wants to hear this shit from this perspective. And that's what I'm saying. So when it comes down to that type of time, it's just like, all right, allow yourself to be open, allow yourself to be free, allow yourself all these different things. And that's why I don't think that counseling will work for me, because I'm gonna put myself in that position. Like, you know what I mean? And in
Right.
order, if I'm willing to work towards that, hey, that LaJuan shit got to go to the back. Like, you know what I mean? And then my spiritual self gonna have to come to the forefront and say, okay, what's really being communicated? Like, what's really being stated? And a lot of people sometimes don't want to do that, so they may need that third person to touch that, that part of their either their brain or their hearts or whatever, to allow them to see what it is that both they need and their partner need, and then them as a unit that they need. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
So
like what Ronnie says. I mean, I hear y'all, but sometimes a mediator may be needed. A lot of people lack comprehension and listen to
oh,
respond.
exactly.
instead
Exactly.
of to understand. That's very true.
That
Yeah.
is. Yeah, I think that sometimes oh, what was I going to say? Something about counseling. I just think sometimes, a counselor could, oh, it's, what it all boils down to, what I'm hearing is communication. And for the two of you, you two tend have the ability to communicate. So, but that's not the case for everyone.
Right.
And so
Right.
the ability to communicate and to, as Ronnie said, comprehend. So to listen, to receive. So then that's where a counselor can assist. But if you have individuals that both can communicate well and are open to receiving constructive feedback, then it may not be needed. You see how I switched that? I said feedback.
Yeah. Hey, but that feedback gets serious.
It
Because
Yeah.
is.
the counselor might say something that'll cancel your ass up out of my life for real. Like, hey,
Right. I mean, so that's the thing, with going to counseling, it can be scary because, I mean, you take that because so that's why I asked you at the beginning when you said it can get sticky. I was like, because my thought was there could be, did you mean sticky in terms of like revealing things that maybe otherwise wouldn't have been, or
oh, I
like,
see what you're saying. I
you
got
know
you.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's where I was going with that.
Mhm.
And then you find out like, man, I didn't know that. I don't like this now, So there could be a hesitation of agreeing to, participate in counseling for
Yeah.
that fact. It's
Yeah.
just something to keep on the back of your, one's mind of that could be how the other person may feel. So then there's the discussion of like reassuring them, like, when we go here, like regardless of what's said, we're going to deal with it.
Hey, so wait, would that make you feel a certain type of way? Like if you went to counseling with somebody and found out a bombshell type of, information from your partner, not nothing like, well, I don't, I guess a bombshell is a bombshell, right?
Right,
Like,
It don't matter.
right.
so like
On that
if you
armor.
was to find out about a bombshell, at counseling, like how would that make you feel? Like is that like would you feel like dang, why you couldn't tell me this without the counselor? Or like
Mm.
Yeah, see,
Mm.
that's what it could bring up. You know what I mean? That's why it's like prior to the counseling, those are discussions that need to be had. Like
Right.
on how would you, but then, you can,
because if it
what I,
came up, you're gonna be like, damn, why you ain't, like why did it take this for you to say that to me? You know what I'm saying?
right.
You gonna look at your janitor keys like, hey, I
I
didn't have
know.
a key to that part. Why
Right.
was that door locked? No
And
more locked doors.
Okay, and the thing is, you can prepare. What I've learned, I'm a very much a prep person, prepare as much as possible. But there's events and situations in life where we just are not, going to be prepared. So to sit here and say I would handle it a certain way, I would be lying because I don't know.
Right.
That would
That's
be the
fair, yeah.
most honest answer. I would just
Mhm.
hope talk to myself before going. I mean, the old me would want to knock everything over,
Everything. Like, look all this shit.
everything
For
and
real.
everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Back to
Right.
counselor.
Yes, man. So I'm like, so that's why I would have to talk to myself beforehand because I'm not trying to catch a case. I'm not trying, like you gotta just, take it like, whoo, all right, okay, you just and
Right.
then
Yeah. And sometimes
process it, process it, and And it may take some days, before responding, because those in the moment responses usually, end up bad, at least for me.
Yeah, see, and just going into that, it's just like what I was saying about the protecting the space and then providing that space is just like with self asked, well, how come I didn't know? Obviously, I don't feel comfortable around you to even say this shit. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you don't provide that space for
Yeah.
me to even be open with you like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's why it's happening, and that's why I fucked the mailman. And that no, I'm playing.
But see, then remember what I said about being comfortable. So being comfortable encompasses that piece
A
as
lot,
well.
a
So
Yeah.
lot.
I have to be comfortable enough to be my authentic self and be able to express myself, be able to share. Comfort for me entails all that.
Fact.
So you know what I mean? And then like with the security, like Self said, secure, like feeling secure, which is, is right on the same as comfort. Because if
Yep.
you're comfort and secure with your partner, you're gonna feel you're gonna it's gonna be a space to where you can share those secrets or thoughts or insecurities, fears, all of that,
Mhm.
and that is what to me get to is a healthy relationship.
Yep. And that's why
Mhm.
I'm against counseling. I'm fucking with
I gathered that from your initial. I was like, yeah, he's not a component for counseling, but
If you need it, you need it.
yeah.
You need it because you be questioning if you need to go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And so then let's see, what else do I have on here? I mean, we did, there's a lot of, I have several questions. We're not going to get into all of them because we just can't. We did touch on how has social media changed the dynamics of dating and relationships today. You know, oh, I know this is a major topic too, and that's like, how does childhood trauma affect relationships? That's
Woo.
a lot.
counseling, that's geared right into the counseling right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, people not dealing with their childhood traumas and then it was rolling over into their relationship. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have a certain type of relationship with their mom, or they didn't have a certain type of relationship with their dad. And now that you're dealing with, a female or male, whatever, you know what I'm saying? All this is going to be spewing out, and then it's going to be like, damn, we need to go to counseling because I don't know how to deal with this shit.
Right,
Right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So it
Because
definitely plays a big role in, where you at. And then that kind of goes back to what I was saying too. Like, some people are, because of their childhood traumas, get together and bond over that because they can relate to it. And then you may get somebody that finally breaks free and, releases all of they, all that type of stuff to where they can move forward, and somebody else may not be able to. And then it's either y'all go to counseling and he can do it, or he can't do it. And you gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Part
You
y'all
have a
ways.
question.
yeah, nah, go ahead, cousin. What's your question?
What happened?
Nah, cousin, she said she got a question.
Oh,
I don't know. Are you saying beam you up to bring you onto the thing?
send the invite.
Yeah, cause yeah, you on if you
YouTube.
on YouTube, yeah, you on YouTube. But if you want to, the link is on my page on Facebook. But yeah, nah. Sometimes people don't feel like going back to what you just now said. So yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Go to yeah, go to my Facebook. The link is on there, and just click the link. You be Gucci.
Excuse me.
But imagine somebody not wanting to throw that in their partner's lap when it comes down to that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't tell you this because I didn't want to throw it like, on your lap and just have you deal with it. So I feel like, if we're in this safe space, then, maybe, instead of you acting irate, we have somebody here for
Oh,
you. So I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
that'll be.
yeah. That could be it,
Mhm.
you know.
But still, me
Yeah,
personally,
because if you're feeling like that, I mean, I'd be like, oh, I mean, you didn't. I'd be really nervous about what the fuck they're gonna tell me.
whew,
Because I'm like,
yeah,
shit. If you feel like you need somebody here, then it's pretty. We ain't. I can already. I think we ain't gonna be together when we leave.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you an Uber.
Uh,
Yes. I'm thinking we should be able to communicate, anything and everything, but not everybody feels that way. Okay, so there's that one. Let's see what else here. Hold on. Now this one is like, uh, how this is like, this is how do children impact relationships, both biological and stepchildren?
mm,
That's wide.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. I mean,
some people, some people ain't ready for them stepkids.
Yeah. Or being a step, like, having somebody step in on
Right.
their kids, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
all of that. Yeah. That's tricky.
yeah, because I remember, and I don't know if I told this shit on podcast, but I remember, oh, cousin back there. Okay, I see her. But I remember, I was working at AutoZone, and there was a chick came up in there, and I'm talking about she was bad, bad. I was like, oh shit. And I see the type of energy she giving me and shit. She got like a little boy with her and shit. And so I was like, yeah, it was raining and shit outside. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put on your windshield wipers. It's Gucci. And so, by the time, because we were super busy, it was raining, so everybody need windshield wipers. But by the time I get outside, somebody else is putting their wipers on. I'm like, okay, it's all good. But still, what's popping? I know that we was looking at each other like, what's going on? And
Hmm.
so she was like, yeah, what's your name? Blase Tajay. And she was like, you got kids. And just like I said, she had a little boy with her. So I'm talking about with my chest out. I was like, yeah, I got a little son. What you And she was like, no, we can't do anything. And I was like, what? And so I didn't even say anything, but I kind of like start to peek at the kid, and she was like, "No, he's not mine." Like I was like,
uh,
I got played for me claiming myself. I should have said no. I should have just lied. Bullshit.
oh dang, that was fun. That was a good one.
But yeah, so I think that certain people have preferences. Like some people want to come in and start their own family. Some people are not comfortable, with coming into a pre situation. Like you know what I mean. So I think it just depends on the person and the people. But me personally, I dated somebody who had a kid and their kid was my son's age, so kind of worked. Like you know what I mean. I don't have any when it comes down to that, just like I was saying with the body count, it's just like if we're vibing out, we're vibing out. Like you know what I mean. So the kids just become, and I like kids anyway and shit too. So it's just like if we vibing, then it's all good. But if you got a badass kid, and this is where it get tricky for me. If you got a badass kid and if you allow your kid to just do any and
Hey,
everything,
you gotta get control of that little
yeah, exactly.
That's whether dating or not.
Yeah, you feel me? And it's just like on that type of time, it's just like I ain't dealing with none of that shit. Because
Right.
if I have to say something and then it's a problem, because now I might have to deal with how you're gonna respond. I'm gonna have to deal with how your baby dad gonna respond, and then I'm a peaceful person. Like, you
Okay.
know what I mean? So it's just like it gets, it just depends on the situation for real. But yeah, nah. I don't know. What's up, cousin?
Hey,
Hey, hello.
How
how
you
y'all
feeling?
doing? How y'all doing?
Good, good, good.
So my question is off the topic of the therapy and trauma bonding and all that good stuff.
For sure.
My question is, so as a woman, like, well, as a man, like, what is something that a woman could do that is like romantic for y'all? Like how y'all buy flowers and stuff like that. So if you, as a woman, done like the bubble bath and all that good stuff, what is something else that men like?
Ooh, you on my list?
Yeah, I really would love it.
They just gotta shut the fuck up. No, I'm playing.
Hey, that's free. That's free too.
That's crazy.
Hey, but nah. For me, because that is, I think, because to not to go too deep into your question, but like men don't really want a lot of shit.
That's what they
That's what I'm
say.
saying. That's why the question is being asked.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, so it's just like the stuff that you see us doing and that we give our.
Oh my god!
That's it. Like the stuff. So
Like
it's that's it. Like so, if you see, like for me, right, just like my last situationship, she got me some colognes. Okay, I fuck with colognes. Like you know what I mean. She got me some Kango. She like, but outside. Let me take away the materialistic shit. We can go out and I'm a stargazer. We can just go out and stargaze and just be in that essence, in that moment, in that. This is where I like to be at, and we could both be here at the same time and share that shit. That shit is priceless. Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying by like, if you know your dude, like, you know what I mean, then it's gonna be like, okay, I know what I kind of know what he's like. This is where he feels free at. That's romantic to me. Like, you know what I mean? That shit is dope as fuck. I don't require a lot, but of course, it might come with some extras and shit. Like, you know what I mean? But that's just the topping to the cake. But you know what I mean? It's just for the icing to the cake. But for the most part, I think that I can speak for most men when I say we don't require a lot when it comes down to that. Like, you know what I mean? But if you're able to give us through you, that's the dopest shit ever because now we know that you're paying attention to what we like and who we are.
Mm. So like, you remember earlier you said a guy who plays PS3 or 2 or whatever and smoked some cigarettes, right? So what if your female came and she just like came home and kicked back with you one night for that type of, because again, like you just mentioned, you're in his essence. So what if she's like, hey babe, you know what I mean? I'm gonna sit down, and like, what are you doing? And pulled up and then started playing with I mean,
Not
is
only
that,
game with them,
I mean,
That'd be lit.
they finna have sex all night after they game.
That'd be lit.
But is
And
that
she got 4
romantic though?
newborns. Huh?
Is that romantic though? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how
That's
men
just
would get women flowers and you know what I'm saying, take them on dates, stuff like that. Like what in that type of aspect, like what is it that y'all like?
But
Is
see,
that
that's us. But like, they
2K26.
right. We do what y'all like because we know that y'all like it. You know
Y'all
what I'm
like it.
saying?
Right.
And I think just the same thing on the back end is like doing what we like because that's just what we like. It ain't like, I don't know, you might not consider it romantic to where it's like you got candles lit, nigga came home and
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, Rose. It ain't gonna look like that. You know what I mean? It's gonna look a little different where he come home, he might have a couple beers. You know what I'm saying? You got the beers out, a meal cooked or something, you know what I mean? Like it's just different.
mm.
I told you I got wooed by some steak and lobster in the bubble bath. If you saw the show earlier.
Right.
Real
Hey,
niggas.
this nigga in bubble bath is crazy.
Okay, so when women do that, say, try, do something romantic, for example, like what if what some women have, put the petals out for a man when he walks through the door. Do you all view it as being corny though? Like, man, why did she?
Because I've done that. That's why I asked.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah,
Like,
no, that's the dopest I've had.
Yeah.
To keep it, because I'm being silly shit, but I've had some women do some dope shit, and it's just like, oh shit, like you know what I mean. And we appreciate because we don't require a lot. So
Yeah.
when y'all go out I don't even want to say go out your way, but when y'all is in that essence, in that spirit, in that moment, and y'all do some dope shit, I'm talking about let somebody lay out some rose petals. I'm crip walking all through them. I'm talking about, hey man, we lit like
moonwalking and shit.
really
Everything.
So it's just like, and if it
It's
leads
the
to a
top,
bubble
man.
bath, it's over. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, Woon in these bubble baths, boy, he ain't letting that go.
I'm just saying.
And he's telling all his future wives, hey, listen.
Hey, look.
Bubble
Extra
bath.
bubble.
All his future
Bubble
wives.
baths. He said, you want to know the way? Bubble baths.
Bubble bath.
There you go, cousin. Look, a bubble bath us, a bubble bath them.
I might have to have this motherfucker have this bubble bath.
A bubble bath.
Might
No.
not had a bubble bath before.
It really be the thought
deny
for
it a
real.
little bit,
Like,
but when he get up in that motherfucker, he'll be like, "Oh, pass him a drink."
This is nice.
Okay.
Cuz, yeah, but he gonna like this shit.
for real.
It's like then you get those men and women who are would prefer the material gifts. So then you do something like that for them, and then because that I've done that, and then they're like, they would rather like have a material gift, and you're like, dang, you know that is a good question because what can you do that I guess it would be knowing the man then.
Yeah, because certain people show they love in different ways. Somebody might be their way of showing they fuck with you for real. But
Mom's is wilding right
Mom's
now.
is wild.
I seen it when it popped up. I seen it
So did
immediately.
I.
I just want you to know that that's the first thing I
Hey,
seen.
I seen it, but she
I
said
just
don't
seen
act
I
like we
seen
didn't
Woon
see it. So I'm
face.
like,
She
all
said,
right,
"Hey,
fuck it,
what-"
I'm gonna put it up there.
Okay. Shit, you didn't see me just wipe the corners of my eye because of my tears from laughing so
I
hard.
seen it immediately.
It's
But
like,
yeah,
And
no,
that goes both ways, Mom.
hey, that's a good thing. Acts of service versus gift
that's
giving.
that part.
Yeah, see, and
You
for
know?
me, man, because let's be honest. Sometimes we give people gifts that they can afford, right? If we're
Mhm.
being honest, like you know what I mean. So it's just like, okay, yeah, the gift shit is cool. I could go out and get that, but then the act of you know what I mean. The act of the service is just like, damn, like you come home just like you said, rose petals, bubble baths, champagne, like and you're just being able to be in that essence. And guess what? Because you created this space probably just for me, I want you to be a part. Come hop in this bathtub with me. Come sip this champagne with me. Come smoke something with me. Like eat whatever. Like you know what I mean. And then we're just going to share that experience. Like a lot of the times, gifts is cool, but the experience is like the dope shit. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A thoughtful gift is, you know what I mean, to where it's like, the person, been needing something, or like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some sort of aspect of real thought that goes behind it. You know what I'm saying? A blanket with both of y'all pictures on it, or you know what I'm saying? A thoughtful gift on that type of time. I feel like it's damn near has a little bit of both, like the act of service and the gift.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because there's that real essence behind
Right.
the gift versus it's like, I'm just buying this nigga some shoes, or
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I could go buy myself some shoes, but like something that has both of us in it intertwined, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a little different.
What if a woman were to send a man flowers to his job?
Oh, hey.
To a certain cat, they might be like, "Oh, she tripping," like, you know what I'm saying?
Why?
She messed up. I'm just saying, to a certain cat, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, wait, hold on. Like, why is she sending me flowers? You know what I'm saying? But that's why I'm saying, like, it's the mindset aspect of it. You know what I'm saying?
Because
there's some cats that's just like that.
Because look, she sends him flowers to work. He comes home and she has the ambiance, or okay.
Oh, it's a prerequisite. Okay, yeah, hell
It's
yeah.
leading up to something, it's like a pair, like so, or she sends him flowers, gets home, tells him, look, get dressed, like just reverse that shit on him, like they do us. Get ready, have something laid out for him to wear, and you already got reservations to go somewhere, or what, like, is that, like, I think that'd be kind of cool too.
I've had that for sure, but not the sending the flowers to the jobs, but for a lot of women in my life, family included, cousin, I don't think I got you yet, but if I didn't get you yet, you're still on the list. But even with my mom, like I did not know that, and I hate to deviate, but real quick, I didn't know that my mom has never got flowers sent to her job until I did it. You understand what I'm trying to say? So it blew my mind. I'm just like, ain't nobody sent you flowers to your job, and I'm doing this for my sisters, my cousins, like you know what I mean. So I think that it's a dope feeling for when women are able to experience that. So
For sure.
I'm not even gonna hold you. I may want to. If somebody did that shit to me, I'm like, oh shit, this is what it
Right.
feels like. You
Right.
understand what I'm trying to say? So I wouldn't even be
Exactly.
mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it at all.
Right.
Thank you. Because I have heard men like Self was like, oh wait, he out when
I
I
already
said that,
know.
he's like, oh no. And I'm
I
like,
already know.
yeah, I'm like, what? That I know I've had it done. So the feeling like you mentioned, I'm thinking like you would want to, I want him to experience that, you know? I mean, I've never sent a man flowers, but I was just thinking, you know,
Hey,
Stereotypes and all of that shit too,
brother.
you know?
the only thing we're gonna do is like accept them, and we probably gonna give them right back to you. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, right.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay, so some men do like flowers. Noted. I thought that was like,
It's the gift that you give it to yourself.
Right,
right.
right.
No, I really was like, I think y'all appreciate anything, like, because of the thought, but like, really,
Yeah.
if I want to go all out, like, what would I do? Because I don't know, like, you know, when a man go all out for a woman, they probably buy her dress or set her dress out. You know what I'm saying? Like a note, meet me here, send the car and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how do we
Hey,
reciprocate
you can do
this?
that. That'll be lit. Little
That would
scavenger
be
hunt. You
dope.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be
With you at
dope.
the end, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that'll be lit.
He wouldn't even expect that. He would be like, what? Oh
Tell him,
my
hey, go get dressed. You know what I'm saying? Put something nice on, like this type of attire. Meet me over here at this time.
He
You
would
know what
be
I'm saying?
he would be
Yes, it's spontaneously.
Yeah, that's that thing like a man, because men like to I'm sorry, we like to get like, okay, well, all right, what's gonna happen next? Okay,
right,
Right.
and we try to put it together as
right.
everything is unfolding, like you know what I mean? So that keeps our minds going like, what the fuck she got popping, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
You
we're just
know,
like, if you I'm sorry, go ahead.
now, I saw someone on social media once, and I thought it was cool. Was she gave her significant other money to go get a haircut, right? And that was leading up to the whole evening,
The
though.
rest of the day,
Yeah, like grooming him, and he didn't know. You know, she was. It was for his birthday. You know, it was like a man would give a woman money to go get a manicure or pedicure, right? Or get her hair done. She gave him money to go get a haircut. And then continued with the other gift giving. And I was like, that's kind of cool though. Just like, putting out the note with the, something for him to wear, like, and you're nowhere to be found, like you're not in the house. You know what I mean? Like that whole illusion. He's
That's
like, man,
dope.
where's she at?
That's dope.
What's she doing? You know what I mean? Oh, we're gonna meet up. Oh shit, I want to see what she has on. I want to see what all that. Boy, he's gonna be
Yeah.
pumped.
And see, and I'm the type of person. I'm the type of person. I remember one year, I made this girl a card, like you know what I mean. But the card consists of, a picture of us, and I wrote some shit up in there, and then like on the back of the card, I put like "fuck Hallmark," like you know what I mean, because it's just like this is something that I made, I put together, and all this shit. So, and that's just one experience, but it's just like a lot of the times I would go all out, like you know what I mean, just to be like, okay, this is what this is. Not on a different type of time, but even with Self, I consider that my brother, like you know what I mean. So I had gave you still got them ashtrays that I had made for you.
Motherfucker right here, nigga.
Oh, okay, yeah, see, yeah.
For real.
So personalized like this is just who I am.
You can't see it now because it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
done, you know what I'm saying? But
but that's
we
just
know
the
what
type
kind of flower Self like.
Oh,
I know, right?
okay.
And a nice, pretty bow. Go ahead and sit now.
But it's just like just to know that I like to sometimes go all out for the woman that I'm dealing with at the time, and just to see, oh damn, she match, just like I said, like I get to experience the same shit that I do. The shit is lit, like, you know what I mean? Like that shit is dope.
Yeah.
I love a card. Don't give me no empty ass card either. It got to be something on the inside. Please write your feelings on the inside. I don't give a damn what Hallmark got inside that card. Please write something aside from your damn name. Like I love cards. I keep cards forever. I have a stack of cards. I love getting cards. That's like one of my things. I love it. I cherish those.
That's nice.
Especially the ones where you write something. Yeah, write something. Write me something.
Oh,
So I would,
Mhm.
if you were to make me, if a man was to make me a handmade card, like I would cry. Because you really like thought about that. You put time and effort into that. You didn't go buy a card.
Right.
Anybody could buy a card. Like you really sat there and made a card and you wrote.
I made the card. I think I got like a teddy bear and some flowers. I went up to her job. I was looking at all the little niggas as potential work husbands and shit like that.
Uh,
But I did all, like, you know what I mean? But to me, it's just like, this is life. Like, you know what I mean? We supposed to make people feel good that we fuck with, like, you know what I mean? So on that type
exactly.
of time, it's just like, there shouldn't be no nothing that you wouldn't do for that person when you really rocking out like that. You
yeah,
know what
someone in the comments said like goofy love is like I think the best love or something. And I think that is true. You know, when you can be that corny love is
Or
the best.
corny.
You know, when you can allow yourself to be corny, and you know you tap back into like your childish side,
I mean?
and
Exactly.
it brings a different essence to the relationship and the intimacy. Like it just takes it to a whole nother level because you're comfortable in being corny, you know? So why not?
Hey, I don't think there would I don't think there would be a bad idea.
At
You know
all.
what I'm saying? When it comes to like doing something for your dude or significant other, whatever, as long as like the thought is there behind it. You know what I mean? And I think that's the main thing behind it all is the fact that you took some time out to think about doing this for me. You know what I mean? Regardless of what it is. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like anybody is going to appreciate that for real, for real.
That's a
Unless
And if
they just too high horse, like you said, you sending nigga flowers, and he like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
fact.
I'm supposed to be sending flowers. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna backlash with his own psyche and shit, his ego.
oh god, now that's on him then. Shit,
Exactly,
that's on
exactly.
him. Uh,
Mhm.
if they don't appreciate it, that's too bad.
Yeah, I haven't had like real flowers, but for everybody who watched Drink Champs,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I had a female. She got me my personalized flowers that they give out.
Uh-huh.
She got me that. I was like, oh shit.
Did she?
Yeah, and I was just talking to her about it, and she ended up getting this shit from me. I'm like, that's lit. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Lit.
Yeah, I like Drink Champs.
That's good. So she was listening to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the
That's
simplest shit.
that's what it is right there.
It's dope.
Okay, y'all. So when I get my nigga and I start doing some romantic shit, I'm gonna give y'all an update.
Okay.
For real.
I gotta give me a man first, and then I'm gonna see how I go. See if this nigga like flowers.
Real time.
Might make me a Hallmark card and put fuck Hallmark on the back. I might just do something like that.
They're gonna be like, man, your girl sending flowers again.
You might like the flowers you like, so. On the real.
Yeah, right, right. For real, huh?
Gonna be
For
broke.
real.
But I'm gonna let y'all know how I go.
Yeah, we'll definitely be looking forward to an update, cousin.
Don't come asking me no questions next week, y'all, because I ain't gonna have no update. I gotta find them first. But I'll let y'all.
Let me see what other question I have on here.
But thank you for having me on y'all podcast. I appreciate it.
Oh, for sure. You know, we love to
Oh,
do.
Thank you.
good.
Y'all be easy. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Let's see. Well, I asked all my questions, so I think I'm gonna let me see. How do
What
you
is she saying on here?
Y'all just gonna bypass my gift?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what she typed before that. Oh, hold on, I didn't see this shit. I'm over here.
Oh, what is the gift?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
some of
was a good one.
these things, if you come home, there's a whole outfit set with dinner. Yeah, hell yeah.
This
And
is
my
simple.
legs hurt.
This is what mom said. What gift is he gonna remember the most?
Mm.
Mm. Shit. Hot wrist to the chest.
What'd you say?
I knew your ass was gonna come with something.
Oh,
Oh, that's a gift he gonna remember the most. Shit, man.
something that lasts the longest.
Yeah.
Be like the gift that keeps on giving.
Right, that part. Oh no. For loyalty? Baby, I
That's
know I've been unloyal, but here you
it's
go.
the
I'm loyal
unspoken.
now. Thank you.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm done with you.
uh,
All right, I'm gonna go eat, y'all.
all right. No, this was a good one.
Yes.
We definitely appreciate you for coming on.
Thank
As
you.
always,
And
yes.
to everybody, thank you for having me. Subscribe, share, like. Let's get the word out,
All the good stuff. You already know.
I will see y'all next week.
For sure.
Yep.
Signing off. Y'all have a good evening.
All right,
You
thank
too.
you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the chat too. The chat was lit tonight.
It was lit.
And I'm sitting over here looking at the thing, knowing that it pops up on the shit and shit too. Like, hold on.
I know some is like, it got to going at one point. I had to go back and shit just to grab a couple of them.
Right.
But no, we was good though.
But yeah,
Shout
shout
out
out
to
to
the
everybody that
chat.
was on Facebook as well, YouTube, all the shit.
Yep. Like she
Um,
said, hit the subscribe, like button if you haven't already. You know what I'm saying? If you want to continue to, tap in with us and jump into this world a little bit.
for sure.
It helps the algorithm, all the YouTube stuff. We gotta have laughs. We for surely gotta have some laughs while we in here.
That's a fact. She said I was doing all that what you call that shit? The real gentleman shit, and then I discovered the $40, so all that shit is out the window.
Right. He said, "Hey, I got these 220s in my pocket."
All right, let me plug this shit in real quick. I am an author for children's books. For the people who may be on here that's new, 5 of them, as you can see, they're everywhere that you can find books, but a lot of people like to get them directly from Amazon. But if you want signed copies, you could definitely get them from me. Just hit the email. Do we post on the email? Can they see the email?
Let me see.
Oh no, yeah, it's up there right now. My bad.
Okay.
I forgot that it's a part of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just tap in with the email, and you could definitely get some autographed copies. And depending on which books that you get, of course, you can get them as a bundle price discount, and just tap in with me.
Yeah, and if you want some high frequency music, man, you getting tired of what you listening to or whatnot, definitely check me out. Me and the brothers with the God realm. But yeah, nah, it's all high frequency music. I also got a beat tape on there, so if you don't want no lyrics, you just want to vibe out to some tunes, You know what I'm saying? I got that for you too. Some of the songs Woon was referencing tonight is in this high frequency album. So
Sage
give it a
Smoke.
listen, check it out. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you want to know what? I think when we sign off, I'm about to go bump that. What is it called? Life Gave Us. Is that the title of that
Oh
track?
yeah, on the God realm.
Nigga.
Yeah, that's man. Now that we got this camera, we plan on shooting to that one for sure. Cause that's one of them ones on that album for sure.
Hell yeah, that's instant classic.
Right. What's the topic next week? I don't know. We might possibly what, Chris Posey?
Yeah. I don't want to stamp that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Um
If he's up to it, then hell yeah. But y'all can throw some if y'all
y'all got some topics.
If y'all got topics, please feel free to throw them in there. Just like I said, we open, and I think this is our like second time. No, I don't even think we really went into relationships like that, huh?
We did.
But
I don't know what the specifics was as far as the topic, but I do remember us touching on relationships. It might have been on some like masculine, feminine energy, and how some of that kind of coincides or whatever when it comes to that. But
yeah,
I would say maybe solid 2 for sure.
Yeah,
like this would be the second one.
Yeah. So yeah, any topic that you guys want to that you might want to have us talk about, and we always try to come at it from both a I guess you want to say like a human perspective, but also what we like to call the I am perspective, just meaning like might dive in just a little bit deeper and go on an internal reflective perspective basis on whatever the topic is and shit. We just don't want to just be one dimensional with this.
Right. Yeah, nah, for real. So yeah, whatever the people want to talk about, we willing to talk about for real.
For sure.
That's how this one came about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody was like, let's talk about relationships. So but yeah, whatever the people trying to talk about, we're gonna talk about it. We got a contender, but it's on the normal religious type of time. So we do enough of those types of shows. You know what I mean? It's good to switch it up and get a different feel. So that's why we not locking that one in quite yet. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Put the tender in contender.
Man. But yeah. I'm sure, you know what I'm saying, just amongst us talking to other people, and you know what I mean, maybe just drop something on the book just to get other people's feedback when it comes to certain topics.
For sure.
But I'm sure we'll come up with something, and we'll want to drop the flyer.
Yep. So we could definitely do that. Just put it out there. Then I'll see you, moms. Good night. Love you too.
Good night, moms.
But so we could probably do that like tomorrow type shit, just to throw up the flyer, just to see,
what
we come up with type shit. Hell yeah, I'm with that.
Yep, and then just run with one.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Another one in the books. Appreciate y'all as always. And shit. Till the next one, next week.
Peace.
Going for your mind. Going for your mind, yeah. This is free your mind. This is free your mind.